Hey friends, welcome back to the channel with another movie reaction. Today we're watching In the Heights. First off, I pulled my reaction to the first 8 minutes and it's in a separate video yet, uncut. It was published like 2 videos before this one, so go check that out first because those 8 minutes won't be in this edited down version. It was really good, I cried, so go check it out. I'll include a link in the description below for that. Did you go check that out? Good, because the rest of the edited reaction is available for free on Patreon. You don't have to join. I'm just linking to the video from Patreon to avoid any trouble with YouTube, because that's happened in the past. On Patreon, you'll find a link to the edited reaction, so go check it out and come back later for the commentary. I have to do this just because HBO Max is giving me copyright strikes for everything these days. But if you do want to watch the full reaction, you can join my Patreon and you'll be able to see it. So again, check out the edited reaction on Patreon in the link in the description below. I'll include it. I'll include the link in a pinned comment as well. But yeah, go do that now because we're about to start the commentary in 3, 2, 1. This movie was such a treat, seeing all the music, the dancing, the directorial choices were spot on. The use of color in this movie was fan-freaking-tastic. That scene with Abuela, the red behind her, the blue before her, going into the light, spectacular. And for those of you who have been following along with me as I react to each song individually, you know that in the final song, they mentioned the great and having that be the reason Usnavi stays. But just listening to it, I didn't know exactly what it was. And here, they changed what that moment was. It wasn't even the great, so... They transformed the bodega itself into the Dominican Republic, which was very, very beautiful, more than I could have imagined. But it meant that I still didn't know what was on the damn grate, so I had to go look it up, and it was a mural of Abuela Claudia with the words Paciencia y Fe painted above her, and I think that works far better in the setting of a play, but this whole changed bodega, this worked really well for the movie. Add to that Vanessa's fashion line that pulled from the neighborhood itself. That was really, really cool. And then there was the crab, Sunny's green crab he made. That's the best part. And the best part about that is that little detail, if you go back about to the 14-minute mark of the movie, which is around the 14:43 in my full reaction, you see the green crab that Sunny made for the bodega actually like sidling along when he's telling this story. So yeah, great little detail. But they changed a lot with this film. Abuela never shares with Usnavi that they won the lottery, and I missed them like not conspiring. I missed them talking to each other about their plans to go to the DR, and yeah, she was just gonna pass it to him in due time in this film, but never got a chance. They already had plans to leave even without that money, and I'm actually a fan of that change. And for people like us who have listened to the songs before, I was actually wondering if it was going to be like Chekhov's gun, since Usnavi already had a way out. Like, what would they need the money for? Would they just say that someone random won and never address it again? But for him to find it and use it on Sunny to try to make sure he can get a green card, that was fantastic. Really awesome moment. And I like the increased attention to activism in this film as opposed to the play. Of course, I didn't see the full play. I just listened to the songs. But yeah, Nina might have even gotten Sunny into activism, given that she's there too, and seems like they did a lot of that together in the past. And Sunny has to hear at the rally that this politician's niece couldn't go to college because she was undocumented. And Sunny's story, Usnavi's conversation with his father, like, why do you think we pay him in cash? You pay him in cash. And so Sunny obviously can't leave with Usnavi and Claudia because he won't be let back in. And regardless of everything that Sunny's facing, he wants to stay and fight, assert our dignities in small ways. Beautiful, beautiful film. And the thing is, in the flash forward at the end to when Usnavi and Vanessa have a daughter, Sunny would have been grown up too much to be in that scene with the same actor, so we don't actually get confirmation that he was able to get his green card, especially with Trump talking about kicking out all the Dreamers. And I don't know, this movie is coming out in a different political climate than the play did, and I appreciate the changes they made and the focus on grassroots activism. That made me feel even more connected to this story as a whole than I was before, so it was really cool. Benny's much more likable this time around. He doesn't assault someone at the club, and I forget exactly what it was. It's been so long. But I remember not being the hugest fan of Benny and Nina's relationship early on. Oh, he was mad at Nina for her father selling the dispatch. Like, completely unreasonable. She had nothing to do with that. And yeah, the changes that they made in this film made him much more likable, and thus made the couple much more likable and one that I wanted to root for. So that worked out really, really well. And the story that changed the most, though, was Nina's. Wow, like from the start, they were like Claudia was there for her because her mother passed away, essentially, and I was like, what? Well, I guess they're cutting Camilla's song then. And it's Mr. Rosario on his own, making sacrifices for his daughter. And then Nina wasn't failing out of the coursework because it was too hard and she had to take a second job to help pay for it. It was too hard on her mental health to be apart from people like her. And she was assumed to be a certain way, thought she was a waitress, thought she stole from her roommate, and she felt like she had to apologize. I mean, that's like the idea that she's apologizing for her skin tone, in all honesty. That's essentially it. And I think that's a very masterful change they made in this movie because it's a very real experience. Because I have a friend who suffered through the same exact thing, going to a very white college, became super depressed, gained a lot of weight, unsure how much, and they eventually dropped out. And I mean, Stanford isn't as white as some other colleges, especially compared to the one my friend went to. But compared to New York City and Washington Heights specifically, it's extremely white. And more to the point, it's extremely lacking in Black and Latin people. And yeah, my friend's college was like 90% white, so she wasn't even woke back then. But she realized that she didn't realize she was going to suffer so much not being in a place with so much without much diversity. And yeah, which is the reason she no longer wants to leave New York City, even though it's cheaper to live elsewhere. And part of my reason too why I don't want to leave. And Abuela's napkins, asserting your dignity in small ways. She had to try to have them cleaned. $117? Jeez. Like, gentrification feels so real. But yeah, those napkins eventually passed down to Nina. That was a really great moment. But yeah, Nina also goes back to Stanford because she changes how she sees her role there. It isn't stepping away from this life in the Heights. It's going there so she can come back and do more for her community. All of this as an 18-year-old girl. I wish I had that kind of foresight at that age. I'd have studied something different. Maybe. I don't know. I'd have studied a lot of English anyway, but I think a lot of more poli-sci and social sciences as well. And I appreciate a lot how a lot of these songs are changed by just the added visuals. The way they were dancing in the reflection of the bodega in the opening song with Usnavi looking out. Amazing, freaking amazing. And the mannequin heads with the wigs looking around when they were singing No Me Diga was inspired. That was really fantastic. When the sun goes down, dancing horizontally on the side of their building, really, really well done. So well done. There were a few songs that were really good that didn't make the cut. My favorite that didn't make the cut was probably Sunrise. How do you cut that song? It's so good. How do you say kiss me, besame? How do you say always, para siempre? Al amanecer, at sunrise. That is so good. I was so disappointed that didn't make it. It was a really good, funny, flirty song between Benny and Nina as well. That's when I first started feeling their connection when I was just listening to the songs. But I guess I had already felt the connection with all the other things that were going on in this film. But I still felt like I really, really missed it. But yeah, it's really interesting because I feel like I got I got very emotional at different points in the movie than when I was just listening to each song individually. That moment when Nina figures out what she wants to do, why she has to go back to Stanford after realizing Sunny not be able to go to college. She realizes she needs to help find a way for everybody to have the opportunities that she has. And Kevin's response, oh, that was so good. This is where you do better than me. Not because of some fancy college, but because you can see a future that I couldn't. My God, that was so powerful. And I think in some way, it maybe affects me personally just because I do everything I can to see a better future and try to make that happen. And my parents can't see it. So seeing a father appreciate his daughter for doing that is just, it's spectacular. And then the ending when Usnavi stays and talks about how he found and built his sueñito right here in the Washington Heights. The best days of his life weren't in his past, they were now, they were his future. and his little Swanito, his little dream Swanito was the daughter wearing, and then the end with the daughter wearing her father's hat, his father's hat. I mean, that was just fantastic. I could probably go on and on about this movie. It's just really, really good. It's a 9 out of 5, 9.5, 9 out of 5, 9.5 out of 10 for me. Instant classic film. Sorry to any of you who are disappointed. It's not a 10. I think a little few changes that I really, really missed made me a little disappointed. But yeah, and really like the post-credit scene. If you missed it somehow, I almost missed it. Go check it out. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, like I said in my reactions to the individual songs, I've actually never been up to Washington Heights despite living in New York City all my life. I actually went to school where Lin-Manuel Miranda did at Hunter College High School, and it was on 94th, so just like the song, I never went above 96th Street. Eventually I did, and I've been as high up as the low 150s, but I think that's still Harlem and not Washington Heights. So I gotta go visit at some time. I'm gonna try to find a Piragua guy. No Mr. Softy for me, no sir. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Again, leave a like, and if you want to watch the full reaction, check out the full reaction tier on Patreon in the link in the description below. And I'll see you guys next week with another movie reaction. We have one movie reaction every week. Next week's gonna be Luca, the new Pixar film. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, friends.